is from Mencius, 372 to 289 BCE, specifically from Mencius, Book of Li Lu, Part 1. Mencius was a native of the state of Lu during the Warring States period and was a renowned ancient Chinese philosopher and educator. As a prominent figure in Confucianism, he is honored with the title Second Sage, ranking just after Confucius. The saying has multiple interpretations, but they all ultimately convey the same core meaning. Among the many forms of unfilial behavior, the greatest is failing to bear children to continue the family line. Filial piety is the most distinctive characteristic that sets humans apart from other animals on Earth. Its existence marks one of the most important milestones in the long course of human evolution. Because of filial piety, our ancestors formed families, multiple generations living together, with descendants continuing from one generation to the next. Therefore, filial piety lies at the heart of human moral and spiritual development and is the foundation of family values. Likewise, the continuation of human society itself reflects the enduring significance of filial piety. If a family has no descendants and the ancestral line comes to an end, it is considered the greatest misfortune and the greatest form of unfilial behavior, because it goes against the most important hope of one's ancestors. When a single family leaves no descendants, its disappearance from human society may go unnoticed, like a single drop missing from a river. But if more and more families cease to have offspring, the river's flow will gradually diminish. Even if it doesn't dry up immediately, it serves as a warning: human society is heading toward extinction. Over the past 2 decades, the birth rate in the United States has been steadily declining. According to data released by the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, the U.S. birth rate hit a historic low in 2024, with the average number of children born per woman falling below 1.6. In order to maintain long-term population stability, each woman needs to give birth to approximately 2.1 children on average. This is a warning sign. But is the declining birth rate truly, as some experts claim, mainly due to people's concerns about their economic situation? Developing countries generally have higher birth rates than developed countries, and in the United States, low-income families tend to have higher birth rates than middle-income families. How can this be explained? Clearly, economic conditions are not the fundamental cause of population changes. China is a populous country with a fully recorded history. Over the course of several thousand years, its people have endured countless foreign invasions, the fall of dynasties, internal chaos, and frequent natural disasters, suffering greatly through the ages. Yet its population grew from around 10 million during the Shang dynasty, 17th to 11th century BCE, to 400 million by the end of the Qing dynasty. China remained the world's most populous nation throughout this time. Even by today's standards, a population of 400 million would rank third in the world, behind only India and China itself. The mainstream of traditional Chinese culture is Confucianism, whose core is filial piety. Filial piety lies at the heart of the development of human spiritual civilization and serves as a driving force for the continuation of human society. This is why traditional Chinese culture has been passed down for nearly 5,000 years without interruption or extinction. Confucianism, centered on filial piety, is so powerful that even after repeated foreign invasions and the fall of dynasties, traditional Chinese culture has endured and absorbed foreign influences. Cultural identity is a fundamental basis for national identity. In recent years, traditional Americans have felt a deep sense of confusion. Have the family values at the heart of the American spirit become outdated in today's age of material prosperity? They notice that their children are very different from how they themselves were when they were young. The younger generation shows little reliance on their families of origin, has little interest in forming new families, and is even more reluctant to have children. This has contributed to the continuous decline in the U.S. birth rate in recent years. If we exclude non-U.S. citizens, the birth rate among families who truly identify with American culture may now be well below 1.6. This marks a critical turning point, a milestone that signals the decline of America's spiritual and cultural foundation. The United States is a multi-ethnic, multicultural republic. If its people lack national identity, the American spiritual and cultural foundation will be shaken, traditional family values will be lost, social unrest will follow, and the country could split, much like the early collapse of another superpower, the Soviet Union. After the Soviet Union dissolved into 15 independent sovereign states, conflicts continued among the former republics. The war between two of the largest former Soviet republics, Russia and Ukraine, has now lasted 12 years. Beautiful historic cities that once escaped World War II have been reduced to ruins, civilians are homeless, and the combined military casualties on both sides have reached nearly 1.4 million, a deeply terrifying reality upon reflection. Upholding the traditional family values within the American spirit can help avoid repeating the tragic fate of the Soviet Union's collapse. It can bring traditional American culture back into every family. Every newborn child is like a blank sheet of paper, pure and flawless. But as they grow, their habits and thoughts vary widely. This is because each person's environment and education during their upbringing differ. Early family environment and education have a particularly profound impact on a person's development. That is why ancient Chinese people said, at 3 years old, the character is set for 80. This shows how crucial family education is for every child, something that no outsider can replace. Children who receive good family education are filial, respect their parents, and listen to their guidance. From a young age, they establish correct moral values and develop strong cognitive abilities. When they grow up, they can get along well with others, and their deep-rooted traditional American cultural values help them resist those heterodox cultures that go against the American spirit. The Make America Great Again movement has awakened traditional Americans who uphold the American spirit and has achieved initial success. However, it is still far from complete victory. Only by restoring traditional American culture in every family can a truly great America endure forever.